Hello there. If you're on this playlist, or if you're a subscriber of mine, and it's obvious you know that I build guitars, and that's something that I don't do for money. I do because I love to do it. Uh, I've played guitar 33 years or so, and I always had a love for the instrument. And when I was able to understand how it all went together, I started building. And built some pretty nice guitars and really enjoy doing it. But last year wasn't able to build it all. You'll have to excuse me. I got a bit of the flu or a cold or something like that. But last year I wasn't able to build it all because, quite frankly, I just did not have the finances to do it. They're not very expensive. You can build them fairly inexpensively, but last year I just didn't have anything left. And this year is not looking much better, but I'm getting like guitar building fever. For those of you that are hunters, buck fever, does that ring a bell? Where like right before season opens, you're really tense and wired because you really want to get out there and hunt, or after the season is over and you're just not quite done, and you can't wait till next season, and you're just you know that's what I am because I didn't get to build last year, and I'm just really in bad shape uh, emotionally because I love building so much, and I'm looking at this year, and it's looking like I'm not going to be able to afford to do it. And then I thought, well, look, I got a bunch of parts from guitars and from friends that have given me parts, and they're not high quality or high dollar parts, but they're most of them are lower end stuff. It's all lower end actually, but I could still build a really nice guitar out of it, out of what I've got. There's a couple things I might need, but for the most part, I got almost everything I need except wood, frets. I need fret wire, that kind of deal. But I started looking in my bin, and I've got this bridge. Now this is a cheap, probably $8 or $10 bridge. I'm sure it's all pot metal, that kind of deal. But it's a top load. I wouldn't have to drill holes for string ferrules for through body, although I do have string ferrules if I were to find another bridge that required them. But I got a pretty cool little hardtail bridge. And so, hardtail. Okay, we've got that established. What next? Well, I've got three of these. Now, these were given to me by my stepson. He bought them off of eBay. And when he bought them, the guy listed them as, and he got them cheap, which is why I didn't say anything. But the guy that he bought it from listed them as Strat Fender pickups. They're not Fender pickups. They're very inexpensive. I mean, if you look at them, got that bar magnet inside the pickup. The poles are probably really short slugs, that kind of deal. It reminds me of the old 50s and 60s cheapo guitars that you bought out of the Sears catalog or whatever. That kind of. I don't know if they're that old or not, but I took measurements of these pickups, and they all measure 10 and a half K. So they're fairly hot. Who knows? I might get a really cool, jangly kind of vintage tone out of these. So I've got 3 Strat pickups and a hardtail bridge, right? So immediately a hardtail Strat comes to mind, and the Strat's one of my favorite guitars. I have one. It is probably one of the nicest. It's pretty much one of the nicest guitars I've ever played. Doesn't matter what you name a Les Paul or anything else, PRS, it doesn't matter. And the more that I play it, the more that I find that I really like a Stratocaster. The contours of the body really pull the instrument into my body. The straight pull of the neck instead of having an angle to the neck. Just the low profile of the bridge just really makes the thing feel like it's a part of my body. And it just feels sleek and fast, and it just feels like a Cadillac to me. So that seems like the way to go for me. But, you know, I've built 3 different Telecasters, and I love Telecasters. But none of the Telecasters that I've built, except if you want to count a 72 Deluxe style, was anything like a standard Telecaster, a standard model that they offer. And I've not ever built a standard single coil bridge and neck pickup tele design. Just never done that. They don't appeal to me yet. I may yet build one just to have one. But the Strat, I mean, the Strat that I have has a dual humbuckers in it, and it has a trim that I've locked down because I don't use them. So I've already got a Strat style body, a standard looking Strat. So since I build my own, I thought that I would try something a little different and still keep it Stratty. And so I came up with this body style a year ago, and this is nothing new. I'm sure that there is another manufacturer out there somewhere that builds a guitar that looks like this. Probably several. The wheel is very rarely reinvented. But I'm thinking something that looks kind of like this. It's got the offset body, sort of like a jazz bass. So, and I'm thinking the horns are a little narrower. This one's got a bit different shape to it. I'm thinking relief cuts here and here for the hand, and then standard belly contour, and nice, if I can get it, a nice deep forearm contour, a really nice belly contour, and maybe, whatever roundover I can find, but I may go with like a 3/4 roundover on the body to just really make it different. And then the standard Telecaster or Stratocaster pickup array and a hardtail bridge, and I've got that. I've got these tuners here. They're basically just cheap Chinese tuners. I can't remember whether these are GFS or whether they're a set that a friend of mine gave me off of eBay. But either way, they're basically a cheap Goto style copy, but I've used them on another guitar, and they work pretty well. But they're 3 on the side. So my standard headstock that I build is a 3 on the side with a 13, 14 degree, somewhere in that. I haven't measured. I just, not the degree, I measure the length of the cut and keep that standard, and it gives me a tilt. I know if you don't build it might be hard for you to understand what I'm saying, but I know it's within 13, 14 degrees tilt to that headstock. Bolt and do a bolt-on standard Strat type setup. I may relieve the back here and stagger the bolts and use pocket screws or something like that to bolt on the neck. I did that. Hold on a minute. I did that with this Tele. which is the last guitar I built. It's a fantastic instrument. But, and I forgot what we were talking about. But, yeah, just, that's beautiful. Just standard tilt. Oh, the pocket screws. And I just went down to Lowe's and got me some pocket screws. And in my opinion, that's just as nice as any kind of recessed, oh, I forget what they're called, but the little grommets or whatever, the ferrules that they use, we have to recess them and all that. That guitar's well over a year old and it's rock stable. They work just fine. And they're, in my opinion, lower profile. And so I'll probably go that way without a plate on the back and do me a little bit of a relief there in the corner, a la the way that Fender does some of theirs, so that I get a little bit better access. But to be quite honest with you, that was never a problem for me when I play. I never notice it, and I play high. So some guys do, some guys don't. I'm one of the guys that don't. So, but anyway, I start thinking, and you know, for the nut, I'm just going to show you what I got. For the nut, I've got a couple of different options. I can do this stuff here, which is Corian. It's a countertop material. Fender, Martin have used it quite often. Now, this is not white. Usually they get something that's white or cream colored, but this is something a friend gave me, and it don't matter, it'll work. Just depends how it looks. I don't have a problem with that. That actually might be pretty unique. Of course, there's an H right there, but by the time I shape it and all of that, and put that to the fretboard, you'll never see that. Or this here. Or I could go, I have a piece of bone. I could do that, but I'm probably going to save this for a nicer build, meaning a build with better electronics and stuff like that. But you never know. I mean, this could end up being a killer guitar. Really easy. For pots, I have an alpha pot here. It's 500K, unfortunately. I would rather have a 250K, a set of 250K. What I might do is take this 500K and put it on the tone, and take this CTS 250K and use it for the volume. I'll have to do a little bit more research and see which one would be best for which. That shouldn't be a problem. But I have that, or I might, when I have it, I have to order them. It cost me about $10 for 2 of them, because I'm really not going to use this one. It's been used 3 or 4 times, but they make a taller shaft. These are usually used in Les Pauls, but I can get them at 250K. This one is probably a 250K because I like them even with most humbuckers. And the advantage of this is that I could keep my top thicker, because we're not talking pick guard here. This is without a pick guard and back routed control cavity. So I could keep my top thicker, 1/2 inch probably, instead of 1/4 inch. And that's, to me, an advantage. But we'll see. I don't think either way would hurt. And then, you know, for the control, the output jack, I've got this cheap little Chinese one, which they're flimsy and not all that great, but it would work. But the problem is the jack plate. I have a Fender jack plate, which I don't like. But I have this, but it's gold. I'm not really picky. I can get one of these for or something a bit different for about $5. But what I'll probably do is order a chrome one and a Switchcraft output jack, because to me, on an output jack, there's no suitable alternative, similarity, or what is the word? There's no suitable facsimile for a Switchcraft jack, period. They last forever. So as far as a switch goes, I have this made in Japan 3-way Fender style switch, but I'm not sure I'm going to use it. Probably what I'm going to do is order an American style, USA style jack for about $8-10. Toggle switch, a small short toggle switch, but with the open stuff here, not the circuit board looking piece of junk, because I would rather have a toggle switch. For knobs, I could go Gibson-esque. So I have these. I found 4 of these for 50 cents at a local thrift store. And the first 2 of these are on that telly I just showed you. Or I could go with these, which is probably what I'll end up using. Or I could do something really weird or wild and put these on here. These look like they came off a stereo or something like that. It came off a P-Bass copy that I had, that I believe these were retrofitted to the instrument. I don't believe that they were standard, but actually they look kind of cool. So you never know. I got 3 options there, and let's see. And then lastly, and of course I have a .001 cap I could do a treble bleed with. I have somewhere in this mess a cap for the tone control, although I would probably go with a 47 instead of that 22. Radio Shack is just a walk away, a ride away rather. It's 5 minutes down the road, something like that. For fret markers, all I've got is these 3. I don't know if you can see them. Let me put them. Alright, that ain't happening. So I have 3 of these. Quarter-inch pearl dot inlays. And what I might do is put one at the 5th fret and 2 at the 12th. Or I may just go without markers on the front and just use side dot markers. So I haven't decided. I've always wanted to do a markerless board, and so I've got a fingerboard, a Granadillo, however you pronounce it, fingerboard, and a truss rod. I have a couple truss rods. So, I mean, I'm good there. I'm thinking 25.5-inch scale, 3x3 headstock with a 14-degree tilt, and standard, the offset body without pick guard, and a standard Strat pickup configuration, 1 volume, 1 tone, and 3-way switch, hardtail. I'm thinking that'd be a really nice guitar. I don't know what wood I'll use yet. Wood is not very expensive, but like I said, I went through all of this because I don't have a whole lot of money to start with. So I may just have to, it may end up being made out of reclaimed wood uh, or something like that. It might be ended up made out of Doug fir from Lowe's or poplar from Lowe's, or I might go down to Home Depot and try some maple or maybe some cedar. Haven't decided yet. Whatever I can get, whatever I can afford. I would rather go to my local lumber place that's 35 or so miles away from here, where they have kiln dried lumber that's at about 7% moisture content, that kind of deal. I'd rather use that wood, because if I use the other, I'll have to take several months to season it in my shop before I can actually start cutting it and using it. Otherwise, the moisture content is too high, and you're going to end up with stuff doing the neckwood that I got. I got a couple of choices with that. I got some flame maple that I've had 3 or 4 years. It's well seasoned and ready to go. But I also have a couple of offcuts of flame maple that are older than that, and some cherry strips that are the same age. And I'm thinking maybe sandwich that together if I can, and I can make a blank, a neck blank that has flame maple, and some cherry in the middle. That might be nice. Just depends on what I go with. Either way, all of that wood is seasoned and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is, I can't really show you the build. This laptop doesn't do real well with sunlight. You get pretty much a white screen, no matter what exposure you set it at or anything like that. I've got other cameras I could use, but they're all battery powered, and the batteries don't last all that long if you use them. For one and for another, building, if I had someone that had a camera and they could actually take video while I was working, that would be fine. But trying to mess with a camera and do custom hand-built guitar work is too much of a division of my time, and I would make more mistakes, things like that. When I build, I want all of my concentration on building the instrument. So what I will probably do is just share with you. I'll share with you the woods that I'm going to use. When I get those in, I'll share with you maybe this is what I got done today, kind of deal, and just bring you along. But be aware that this build will go on through this year until it starts to get too cold to do any work. So right around October, November. This is not something that's going to happen in a month or two unless I get really blessed. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to bring you along as much as I can on the build. For those of you that are interested, I hope that it's something that you enjoy, and I just want to bring you along. And by the way, I'm going to direct mount these pickups. There's not going to be a pick guard or pickup rings or any of that kind of thing. They're going to be directly mounted into the wood of the instrument. So we'll do that as well. And so, all right, please come along, those of you that are guitar players or those of you that build. Whether you're building parts casters or you're doing like me and building from scratch, whether you've got a big, huge fancy shop, or you're like me and you work out on your porch. If you're interested, please come along with me and let's enjoy the journey together. All right. God bless you, and keep an eye out for upcoming videos in this series. Later.